Welcome to the debauchery. We have such sights to show you.
Here's Johnny!
All you have left is my desire for you.
Oh, no tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
What's up, all you horror movie loving fuckers? Welcome back to another episode of Fright Flick Fuck Marry Kill. As always, I'm your host, Jay. But this week, finally, after a very fucking long time, we got our original OG fuckhead, Dylan. Dylan is finally back on the show, brother. Welcome back. It's been a fucking hot minute.
Thank you. Thank you for the welcomes. I appreciate it. I appreciate being here. I love being here. I've been super busy. I've been watching. I really have. You and Jamie love it. That new format that you do with John for the August Underground. Only watched those movies once in my life. Never watched them again. You guys made me relive all three. It was amazing. I loved it. I love that format. Please keep doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah. I'm so glad to be back.
Yep. And like I said, because, you know, we've been in contact quite a bit through the Patreon and stuff like that and the Discord. And, you know, and like I told you before, you know, here on this show, the door is always open. And, you know, you've just been, for the people who may be new, who have never listened to this, and we were talking about this before we started recording, Dylan's got his own fucking basketball team at his house right now. He's got he's got a house full of the kiddos, you know, so he's got, you know, wife, kids, work, everything going on. So
young, dumb, and full of cum.
Hey, man. Hey, some of that cum, damn it. Stop fucking letting it go.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. I'm doing my best.
I went back many years ago. I went and got the old vasectomy done to stop that process. And so highly recommend it. unless are y'all wanting more?
No, I mean, the wife might want more, and that's a little scary to me because I don't want more, but she's adamant that she will want more when the youngest goes to school. And I'm thinking, like, I'm going to play the psychological thing. And I told her, I'm like, if we ever have more kids, it's got to be twins. So it's got to be, you know, artificial insemination. Doctors got to get involved. It's going to be costly. And she's like, yeah, okay. And I'm like, oh, no, this backfired horribly.
No, hell no. But yeah, I said, so I totally get it. Like you'd hit me up. I knew you were super busy. And so you had hit me up probably, God, it's been probably a couple months ago about the movie we're going to talk about. And
yes, sir.
And so you're like, hey, you know, because I hit you up about coming back on the show, and you told me like, this is the movie you want to do. And I tell people all the time when I do this show, you know, people in the Fright Flick family, they come on here and they recommend shit, and I'll get on here and talk about it. Just like, you know, Jamie's recommended some, Lucy's recommended some, ODW from YouTube recommended this last week's episode exists, you know. And so when you had hit me up about it, I was like, yeah, man, we'll do it. So I kind of had this one, and it was one in my mind I wanted to do eventually. But when you had recommended it, I was like, okay, so I'm gonna sit on this one. This one is just gonna be, you know, this will be the Dylan show. So
put a pin in it.
Yeah, we're gonna bookmark this bad boy, and we're gonna come back to it. So when you'd hit me up about it, and so this week you finally hit me up like, hey man, I got some time, you know, and you told me what day you had available. And like I said, I'm pretty easy with my schedule, so I can get on here kind of whenever. So I was super excited to do this and have you back on the show. And literally just today I got up and we talked about it before the show started, that I think we both rewatched it today. Because I'd seen it probably several months ago, and I wanted it to be kind of fresh. So I got up earlier today and rewatched it and took a few notes on it. And I'm glad I did, because rewatching it today made me rethink how I would rate this thing. If you would have asked me a couple weeks ago, hey, have you seen this movie? And I'd have been like, oh yeah, I've seen it. What do you think about it? And what I would have said then is different than what I would say now about this movie. But what is the movie? What is the movie for everybody listening? What is the movie, Dylan, that we're going to talk about this week?
It is a movie called When Evil Lurks.
Yes.
And I could not tell you the director. I don't have my computer in
Oh, I
front of
got
me,
that.
but I
It is a
like Jay said, I watched it this morning. I was up at 6 o'clock before the sun came up, so I made sure it was, as scary as it could be for me. I was
hey.
taking notes. I was fucking super stoked for this.
If you're not watching this on the YouTube channel, Dylan just held up pages of
Pages,
notes.
pages.
Dude went all in this week. He got some notes, pages of
That's
notes.
never been done before on
Yeah,
the.
no,
I
this was the first.
I looked it up actually when I wrote these notes, like probably 20 minutes before I walked to my shop to come do this with you. I looked it up and I'm like, how many episodes have I been on that I never took any notes?
I don't think you ever took
And
notes.
no, never, not once. I've never taken notes. I was on 6 episodes. Not once have I taken notes.
Yeah,
That
and
shows you how excited I am to be back.
yeah, and so like we've taken out all the stops for this week's show. Like the red carpet is out. There's notes been took by both sides, and so like I said, When Evil Lurks, 2023 supernatural horror film. This one was written and directed by Damien Rugna, Rugna. Sir, if I'm saying that wrong, you let me know. But I'm not great with pronunciations. And the good thing about this guy, when I looked him up, that I was a huge fan of. Recently, me and Jamie did a show on here. We talked about Terrified, 2017 movie. He also wrote and directed Terrified.
Fun fact for those who don't know, when I asked you to do this movie, it was because I was currently listening to that episode with you and Jamie talking about Terrified. And I'm like, I need to get back on this because they're having so much fun.
Oh
And I
yeah.
remember the episode, which must not be named, that we recorded last, which didn't get saved, and it bummed me out so much.
Hey, there's a
So
part of me that was because we recorded it, we redid it, but the original video we did that night, I was really,
can we tell them what movie it was?
I don't even remember the movie.
It was Abraham Lincoln versus Zombies.
Oh shit, that's
It
right.
was the first night of honor.
The month of Bill Oberst.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
that movie, and it was the first week, and that episode got lost. I don't know what I did that
lost.
because I was really tipsy that night when we recorded.
There's a we. There's no I. There was
Yeah,
we. We were
and
hammered.
I remember having to hit you up the next day, going like, "Dude, it's gone." Like I don't know what I did, but after we recorded, that motherfucker was just poof in the wind, gone. And I was like, so we had to get together and re-record an episode
Yep.
for a particular show. But yeah, that one was forever lost. I don't know what I did that night, but I did something that it's gone. There's probably a
That's
good
okay.
reason why. It may be a good reason why that one was lost because, like I said, you just heard me. I don't remember the title we were talking about that night. That's how fucking too much in
Yeah, it
the.
was. I swapped you, and I remember this because I watched the episode, and it's just you alone, and
Oh, I
yeah,
do it by
and I
myself.
was like,
Okay, yeah,
I remember switching you because we rated it in the beginning, and you said this movie was a kill, and
yeah,
then by the end, I had gotten you with the fun that we had talking about it to marry it, and
yeah.
then fucking in the next episode, I was like, but I agree with the kill. I rewatched it afterwards, and I'm like, yeah, I must have been real high or real drunk because this movie is 100% a kill.
Oh yeah, but yeah. So and I ain't gonna lie on this episode, people. I've been in the Gentleman Jack now for a little while, but I've learned from the error of my ways, and now when I'm done recording this show, and I've learned with this because I'm older, so I've had to learn this whole computer. I got a new Apple computer, so I figured out that once I'm done recording and I hit the end button to end the recording, when I just get up from my chair and walk away because the computer is doing all this converting. I just get up and walk away now. And then I come back tomorrow and everything is
That's genius.
Yeah. And so I'm not sitting here tonight when I'm done with it. I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to start editing and saving shit, moving shit. I'm not doing that. Now I've learned I record, I push stop, I get up from my chair, I walk away. I come back tomorrow, I'm sober, and I can get everything done the way I need to. So that's where I fucked up the last time. I tried to be proactive and I tried to like do everything that night. Like I finished recording and I think I was trying to edit or whatever the fuck I did and it got gone. So I've learned from my mistakes. So
I don't blame you, man. It's okay.
hey, because one thing I did learn, I wasn't going to do from that last mistake. I was not going to stop having my buddy Gentleman Jack on the show. That's not going to
Oh,
stop.
absolutely not. That's your main co-host.
Yeah, that's a go-to every week. But I've learned to, like I said, finish the recording, hit end. My computer starts doing its thing. I walk away. When I come back tomorrow,
With Mr. Gentleman Jack.
that's right. Me and Jack get up, we go about our business. So I've learned. So we won't have that problem again. So, but yeah, this week I said this one's been on the back burner for a minute, just waiting for whenever you can get on here and do it. And
Did you want to reintroduce it? They might have not.
reintroduce what?
The movie, which one it is
The one we're
with the
talking about?
director. Yeah,
Didn't we do that already?
I think so, but they might have forgot.
Oh, shit. It maybe if they're like me and they drink as much as I do. But hey, when evil lurks, people, 2023.
Yes, yes, that
Mr. Damien Rugna also did Terrified, 2017. Great movie. We
fantastic
watched
movie.
this. I watched this on Shutter. It was on Shutter. Did you watch it on Shutter?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, checked it out on Shutter. You can watch it there. If you don't have Shutter, go look that shit up. Go ahead and spend a little bit, get it because it's worth it. So yeah, that is. And some of the housekeeping shit, let me get it out of the way now. I don't spend a lot of time on it. Go check us out. All the little links, if you're listening on the podcast platforms, the links are down below. If you're watching on YouTube, the links are not there. But it's so we're on Facebook, Shutter, not Facebook. Fuck, dude. See, Gentleman Jack's already fucking with me. Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, Fright Flick FMK. Also checks out the website. If Welcome to the Debauchery. It's part of a group of podcasters that get together, support each other. Right now, Criminal AF, True Crime University. So definitely check those out. They're big on they're the true crimes. I know a lot of people out there. I love true crime. A lot of people out there love true crime type shit. You'll have a lot of fun with those shows. Go check them out. But
Love them both.
yep. But on this show, we talk about some fucking horror movies. And around here, it's nothing fancy. We talk about a horror movie just like if me and Dylan was sitting at a kitchen table right now, drinking and just bullshitting about a movie. That's how we do it here. There's no fucking layout. There's no plan. There's no how we do this every week. It's just a shoot from the hip, full on send it, and we talk shit and have fun. And there's going to be a lot of cursing. There's going to be a lot of shit talking. There's going to be a lot of stuff that I make jokes about that
Mhm.
you may not like, or
Me too.
you may hurt your little fucking feelings. And if it does, that's fine. You know, the same door you walked in, that same door you can walk the fuck out. And that's just how we do it here. But because there's one part in this movie I'm looking forward to getting to because I'm going to talk some shit about it. But
Oh no. I'm actually I have no idea what part that is. I'm
oh
very
yeah,
curious. This is awesome.
it's probably gonna upset some people, but you know, it's funny, it's comedy. I don't take shit serious, but it's like you can sit there and watch comedy shows all the time and hear the same people make these jokes, and people pay. You pay to go listen to comedians talk shit about stuff. You know, I get on here and make a joke about something in a movie, and because I had somebody the other day, you know, they were talking about podcasts and shit. And somebody asked me, like, don't you do your podcast? I'm like, yeah, you know, and somebody asked me, they're like, well, don't you have to kind of like, you know, watch what you say? And I told him, I said, dude, I said, no, I said, I don't. I said, would I have more listeners and more people following along if I was a certain way? Maybe. But I said, I am not going to cater to anybody on this show. I'm not. I'm like, if I find something funny or if I want to make a joke about it, I'm going to do that, and I'm not going to care like if people like it or don't. I honestly don't care. And so, and when they asked me that, I said, no, dude, I said, I don't edit shit on mine. I said, he was like, and he asked me, he's like, but yeah, but are people okay with that? And I was like, I feel sure there's people that are not. There's people that are going to listen to me and hear some shit I crack jokes about or make fun of, and they'll be like, no, I'm not listening. But that's fine. People, this show does not and will not ever be needed to pay my bills. I'm gonna be
Hallelujah.
I'm gonna be all right, people. This is for fun for me. I like getting on here with people like Dylan, Jamie, Lucy, all the ones, I just like talking about horror movies. This ain't paying the bills, people. I don't need it to pay the bills. So I'm gonna get on here and have a good time. And so here on this show, people, if you're new, if you just come along, we rate them on if we fuck it, married, or kill it. Marrying it,
Yes, sir.
that's the best. That's our spooning buddy. That's our fall asleep with every night, whispering in her ear. That's the marry. Fucking it is your friends with benefits. That's the one you
Yep.
can pop in every now and then. Every now and then when you're sitting at home and you don't know what you want, but you got an itch and you need something to scratch it. That's your friends with benefits. Then you got your kill. That's the fucking sea donkey, the one night stand, the bitch you picked up at the club, took her home, fucked the shit out of her, woke up the next day, wish you hadn't, and hey, that's the sea donkey. That's the kill. We're never watching that movie again. I did it once. I ain't going back to it. That's how we rate them here. It's pretty fucking simple, people. You've all played the game.
Mm-hmm.
So,
3 levels. Just three.
yep. So this one, there are a lot of I'm not even going to attempt the cast members in this movie because this is for me subtitles. I think it was in Spanish. And
Yep.
so
Latin something, Latin American.
yeah, I couldn't. So a lot of the names, I'm not even going to waste people's time and trying to butcher their names. Go to IMDb, go to Wikipedia. It's got it all there. I don't want to be like, just fuck the cast, but damn it, I don't want to butcher the shit out of names either. So, what made you want to do this movie?
Well, to be honest, I tried to look up the last movie that we did together
Mm-hmm.
after I was okay. I was listening to you on repeat because I had missed a few episodes, and I was like, I'm driving my kids back up to where they live. They live 8 hours away from me, my older two. It's very sad, sucks, blah. So I'm driving them back home, and on my way back by myself, I was listening to FMK and I was listening to Terrifier, and I'm like, God damn, we need to have another episode. I need to get back on this shit. So I looked up the last episode that I was on, and I realized I was like, fuck, it was Spirit Halloween. It was
Holy
like a
shit,
kid
was it?
horror movie.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, all right, I get why I was on that episode, but I need to like crank it up a notch because you have merch. Go check out the FMK shop.
I do not have merch.
Oh, no?
No, at the moment I do
I
not.
lied. Don't go check out the FMK shop.
Don't go to the shop. I have it paused right now.
Oh
I
no.
post up every now and then for like a month or two because
Okay.
it costs me like every month the store is up. I have to pay for it to be up. So what I do is
Fair enough.
like little certain times. Like I may throw it up for a couple months. If the store's there, like I can reactivate it and all the merch will be there. But I just kind of, instead of just have it sitting there for month after month after month, I just kind of pull it down and save some money, and then a few months I can put it back up again for a month or two. So it's going to come and go. So I don't know when it's going to be back up again, but there is a store. We do have merch, but right now at this time, you can't buy shit. So
Fair enough. Stay tuned for whenever this store does open again,
yeah.
because merch is worth it and does actually last. I have my shirt. I'm not wearing it right now, but it's still, to this day, I wear it all the time. Anyway, it's from a Serbian film which we also did together.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, we need to up the ante. So I was like, The director for Terrifier also does another really good movie, which I love, When Evil Lurks. Need to do that movie as well, because I had to make sure that for the short amount of time I wasn't listening, that you didn't do that movie, because I was like, God, he's probably fucking done it, because it's, you know,
I wouldn't.
I'll say a decent movie, because I'm assuming we're going to wait for ratings until the end, and I'm not going to spoil nothing.
Okay.
This time I'm poker faced.
Okay. So tell me something you did not like about this movie.
I didn't like the little boy's acting, Antonio. I fucking hated it very much.
Antonio?
The youngest son of the main
Oh,
character.
the youngest dude. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I fucking hated that kid's acting so much, it threw me off through a good portion of the movie.
I think it was Santino.
Oh, it's not Santonio. I think you're right.
Yeah, I think it's Santino.
You're right. It is
I know what you're
Santino.
talking
It's in
about.
my
I know
notes.
what you're talking about. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Santino for sure. Literally in my notes right now, it says Santino's crying was horribly bad. That was probably one of the things I disliked the most about this movie.
Yeah, and it's completely normal because it's very rare you watch a movie and you're just in love with everybody in it, where everybody was just so fucking checked all the boxes. It was just so fucking good. And so I could see it, because this one for me, I was the same way. There had certain ones in the movie that annoyed me. Like,
Oh yeah.
and it was just kind of like, I just want you to, I hope you fucking die, but yeah, but as far as was there anything in the story, let's say the storyline, as far as the movie itself, the storyline, was there anything that you did not like about it?
Uh, well, I'm a sucker for lore in movies.
Mm-hmm.
And with this one, it really doesn't give you much beyond the present day and the information they're going to give you and whatever conversations they're going to have. You know what I'm saying? So like there's points in the movie where it nods to like history, like God doesn't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
How the fuck did that happen? You know, there's certain things they do in this movie. It just doesn't have enough exposition, I think is the word for it. That's my big word of the day, by the way.
That was a pretty big one. It's one of those, I tell people all the time, I don't like big words. If I got to clap it out, like back in school when you have to sound shit out, like, if I got to clap it out, that's too big for me. I like to stick to the smaller words, and that was a big word for this show. Like I said, I don't, what was it again?
Exposition. So like the explanation behind you know, I don't even know the definition, to be honest. I just know what the word means.
Hey, you made it sound fancy there for a quick minute. So hey, we'll pink you up to that shit right there. It's like,
I'm a humble tradesman, guys. Don't think I'm nothing special. I'm fucking
shit. It ain't nothing special about me, man. I'm a high school diploma guy. Like I said, I'm just, like I said, 4-letter words, man. That's my limit. If I gotta start clapping a word out to figure it out, that's too much for me. I don't like to do it. But quick little description on
what okay, before you get the description, what was the one thing you didn't like about, the movie, the story, the actor? What was it?
If I had to pick, like, let's just say if we're talking about actors, actresses in this movie that annoyed me. And when I say annoyed, it wasn't like the person was acting bad. It was what they had to do at this particular moment in the movie that made me just really want to be like, shut the fuck up and listen. And we'll talk about it later. But the part when it comes to Sabrina, the wife of Pedro, whenever
Yeah, okay. I know what you're talking about.
and she is doing this screaming, kind of like in the background. And, Pedro's trying to fucking talk to her and explain shit. And she's just hysterical after Vicky's gets taken. and she's and this screaming. I'm just like, shut the fuck up. And I want her just to stop making any kind of sound. And it's a mother,
Yep.
the daughter's got whatever, and I get it, but it's just like I'm trying to watch it, and I'm one of those that I can't take a lot of noises going on with me at one time. It bothers me. It gets me real irritated. And so as I'm watching this movie, I'm hearing, Pedro's trying to fucking talk. Her husband, Leo, I think is his name, he's trying to talk, and she's yelling and screaming. And for me, it was just like
Hmm.
overwhelming, just too much noise, And so it wasn't nothing bad against her, the lady that played Sabrina. It was just this particular what she had to do in that moment. I wish that Pedro could have like give her like growing up when we would pop off at the mouth for mama or whatever. She'd give you a quick little slap against the little cheeks just to be like, shut your mouth. And a part of me
Yeah,
wished,
shut the fuck up and focus for a second.
yeah, a part of me wanted Pedro just to just pop her on the cheek one time, just like, shut the fuck up and listen. Just shut the fuck up. And
Yeah.
I got, but nothing against the actor. I will say this in this movie. Everybody in this movie, actor wise, actress, to me did really good. I had no
For the
complaints about really
For the
any.
most part, yes, there was just certain part, like for instance, when in my notes, Santino's crying was horribly bad. That
Yeah,
that that fake cry out of Santino in one of those scenes was I was just like, come on.
and I'll give them a little credit. As kids, they're
Oh,
normal.
100%, yeah.
So
He must
it's
have been like five.
yeah, a super young kid. But yeah, I would have nothing really bad against any of them. As far as the acting, this movie does give you that. There's certain ones you really like, and there was a couple times during this movie. There's ones that they got on my nerves. Sabrina got on my
Mm.
nerves. At some point, Pedro, who's like one of the main guys in this thing, is going to get on my nerves a little bit. But and even like let's just say like the story behind this thing, um, I, I've I really enjoyed it, man. I like the build up. I like the I like the I don't want to get too much into it because I want to fucking give away my fucking
Oh,
rating.
absolutely. Yeah, no, don't spoil it yet.
Yeah,
We'll spoil it
but
later.
yeah, um, a quick little. This is straight off the good old IMDb type shit right here. Like I said, I don't come up with this shit on my own, people. I'm not that creative. So a little description on this bad boy. In a remote village, two brothers are going to find a demon infected man just about to give birth to evil itself. They decide
Hmm.
to get rid of the body only to end up unintentionally spreading chaos. And that's how we go into this thing. A couple brothers. And I remember when it started, it starts off, it kind of had it did. I need a movie to get my attention in the first 10 minutes or so. It's got to do something. It doesn't, and I'm a gore whore. I love blood, killing, all that shit. But even I don't have to have all that all the time. But if a movie can give me something in the first 5 or 10 minutes, it just kind of gets my attention and has me going like, what the fuck? And this one did that.
Yeah.
So this one did.
Yes.
So in the beginning, we get a couple gunshots. The brothers are kind of like, what the fuck's this about? They got to go figure some shit out. Uh,
Yeah.
let's get to where they go out there and discover what did we find when the two brothers decided to go inspect where these gunshots were coming from.
Okay, so the two brothers, Jimmy and Pedro, start walking through all these almost farm-like fields.
Mm.
And as they're walking, they're looking for like um Jay said, the gunshots that they heard, but they said specifically that they'd go at dawn. And when they find whatever the fuck they want to find, they end up finding this dude who, well, has no upper half.
Chopped in half.
They see like a this of a hand, and then they see legs. And they try and say that it's a wild cat of some. I can't remember what cat exactly they said.
A puma.
Yeah, puma.
Yep.
Yeah.
But one thing that got me was like when it made me start going like, what's going on here? Like when the gunshots first happened, it's at nighttime. You could tell because he's seeing the light from the barrel, and the
Mm.
brother Pedro, and they gather up their shit. Him and his brother Jimmy. They gather up their guns and they're going like, we're going out there. We got to go figure out what's going on. The weird part to me was they walk out of the house. They get like 20 yards from the front door, and then Pedro stops. And then they're like, we'll go in the morning. I'm like, what the fuck are you? Why do we fucking go outside for if you're just going to stop at the 20-yard mark and be like, yeah, we'll look at it in the morning. And that part was odd.
Well,
I didn't know why they did that.
yeah, when I first watched it, that was real odd for me too. I was like, wait, that seems so, I don't know really the word for it. Cowardly, maybe? Like, oh, grab the guns. We're gonna uh you know what? We'll go look in the morning.
Yeah.
It seemed kind of bitch made almost
I'm
in
not
the
going.
beginning.
I'm
I was
not
like,
mad at him. I would have
whoa.
probably done the same fucking thing. You know, I may have been the same. I'd have been that guy I would have never come out of the house. I'd be like, you know what? Let's wait till the sun comes up, buddy. Let's just hold on here before we go run across the field in the middle of the night where we see gunshots. And for all we know, they may shoot us. So let's just wait till the sun comes up. So I'm not mad at Pedro for getting 20 yards from the front door and hitting the pause button and be like, what the fuck am I doing? And so, but it was, yeah. And so the next morning they get up, they go out there. And like you said, they come across this, they got their dogs with them. And the dogs have basically found this half a person sitting there. And
Mhm.
and I remember when they're looking around, they come across a bunch of this. I called it in my notes, I put a contraption. There's some type of contraption in this like briefcase looking thing with all these little pieces.
That's a great name for it because
Yeah.
I don't ever think we get a name for it,
No,
to be honest.
it's just, I seen it in my notes and I put there's some type of contraption with some pieces to it and shit. And as they're looking in there, they find some like directions to a house and they find this like photo ID of this lady. And they know
Mhm.
this lady. They know where this lady is.
Yes.
So then we're going to go see, I think her name was fucking Maria. We're going to call, yeah, Maria was her name. What happens when we go see Maria?
Well, they walk up to Maria's house. They ask her, they're like, hey, do you know of any person that would be looking for you right now? Because they obviously have no idea who this half of a person was. There was no ID. There was no nothing. There was a folder with a map to Maria's house and her ID in it. Nothing else besides the contraption, which we will call that. I love that word. That's a great word for it because I was calling it the machine, but it's not a machine.
Yeah, I have no clue.
So we
But
get there
Maria
and
was acting sus as soon as they walked up. Maria was kind of like, you knew this bitch had some info. Like she just got this look.
almost everybody in this movie acts suspicious. It's ridiculous. Everyone's got something to hide. Oh, oh, that is another one of my tiny gripes with it is that everyone was kind of acting like like not I don't really want to say sus for everyone, but like in their own interest. Everyone was slightly selfish.
Yeah, especially early on when you find out
Yeah.
mayor's involved, the police are involved, and
Yeah.
everybody knew something, but nobody fucking does nothing.
Yeah. So we get to Maria's house, and Pedro and Jimmy, which are the brothers, are asking her all these questions, who would be looking for you and why. And eventually Maria opens up. She's like, well, he's here to come kill my son, Uriel.
Yeah.
And they're like, what? Why? And then they go see him. And then this apparent a boy, I think it was supposed to be, or teenager of some sorts. That was my impression the whole time. Is bloated, fat, and like infected in the bed, and they're calling him a rotten. Is that
Yeah.
what they're calling him?
Yeah.
Yeah, the rotten.
And so and I remember when they showed him, man, I was like, I had because it had been so long since I'd seen this the first time. I didn't really watch it today. I couldn't remember. And when they showed him, and if you know, sometimes you get an image of something, and there's a part of
Yeah.
you when you see it, there's a part of you that can almost smell it. You could almost, you know, sometimes a smell is so bad that you can taste it. And
Yeah, especially when you see the pee stains.
oh, in his underwear. Yeah. Well, he's just laying there. This dude is just this big fucking. I put in my notes, I don't remember his name, but I put big, fat, nasty blob shit dude is and when they go in there, they see him. And apparently the rotten is what he has been possessed. It's kind of
Yeah,
bad. This dude is possessed. And
by a demon.
yes.
This is this universe movie's version of possession demon whatever the fuck.
And you know, this whole at some point during this, I remember at some point they made the comment like, you know, God is dead, like they have everything's been given up on, and now it's just this fucking demon. And I'm and I'm sitting there as I'm watching it, this nasty thing laying on this bed. And I remember
Yeah.
at one point he's looking over at him, and you see this yellowy shit runs out the side of his mouth.
Ugh.
And I remember putting
Ugh.
in notes, only a mama, only a mother love. Because she walked
Yeah.
there, she pulls out like a rag and dips it in the water, and she's like wiping his mouth and wiping his forehead. I like only a mama.
Yeah, but did you notice the water was fucking disgusting too, man?
Everything,
Like,
everything is fucking
ugh.
nasty in this fucking joint. Like I can't imagine just the smell, the look of this thing when you see it. It just everything is fucking nasty and disgusting. And when I see it, I was like, that is only a face a mama could love. Because I make jokes sometimes when you see some ugly people out in the world, you know, and I'd be like, damn, look at that fucking thing is ugly, you know, and I make the comment like that's a face only a mama could love
Oh,
because
100%.
there's some little ugly fuckers out there, and a face only mama could love. And mama loved this little fat, nasty, possessed, rotten thing in her house. And I was like, oh, that's so fucking nasty. And but then and because apparently at some point she makes the comment, they know, they kind of recognize what's going on. This isn't something
Yeah.
they've kind of, this is like an old tale, wives' tale, whatever, around that area. They've heard of it, they know of it. So she makes the comment, the mom does, that she has mentioned this to like the police or whoever.
Yeah, the authorities. We'll
Yeah,
call them the
like a
authorities.
year ago, over a year ago. This,
Yeah,
this
we'll address that for 1 second because that really blew my mind. I was like,
yeah,
why did they wait a year? That's so fucked up.
yeah. She told the authorities about this a year ago, and they did nothing. So this big blob of nasty has just been up in your house for a year, just getting worse and
Ugh.
worse and worse. So the two brothers, they leave and they go to the police. They're trying to get down to the bottom of this thing, you know, and to come to find out, like I said, they basically come out and admit it, and you figure out that, you know, apparently a year ago the mayor knew about it, the police knew about it, and nothing was really done. Well, apparently they had said that they had hired a cleaner.
Yeah, yeah, that's what
Uh,
I have the title as in here too, the
yeah,
cleaner.
like a, you know, priest that's supposed to come exorcise the demon and
Exorcise the demon.
exorcise the demon. And what was that? Ace Ventura?
Yeah.
Yeah, love that. But yeah, they had hired him, but then he kind of tells them that, you know, he lets them know like the dude never made it there. And they're thinking, I guess this main guy in town whose last name is Ruiz, who's like that owns a ton of land out there or whatever, and they're thinking like he has something to do with this, you know, and the police are no fucking help, people.
No.
These
No,
pokos,
they basically if you can see me on YouTube, they wipe their hands of that shit. They're like, nah, we called someone, they'll deal with it.
Yeah, it's like they just handed that shit off. Oh, we called a cleaner. We called a guy. He's supposed to come handle it, and they give two fucks. And so the two
We
brothers,
find out, by the way, at this point that that's the dude that's cut in half. That's the cleaner.
yeah,
At the beginning of the
yeah,
movie, the guy that we find that's like cleaved in two, and we
yep,
see the like 3 or 4 fingers of his hand.
yep.
That was the original cleaner. He's
that
gone.
that was the guy that's supposed to come cleanse the big fat fuck laying up in the bed back at Mama Maria's house. So then they leave, and then they go talk to Ruiz. The Ruiz, the big man in town, owns a ton of land. He's like, you can tell he's kind of like the big dog in this little area where they're at. They go to talk
Yeah,
to him.
this little township, Ruiz,
Yep.
kind of like he's that man. Yeah,
He was the guy. And so and even then when they're talking to Ruiz, you find out like this mayor knew about it, they knew about it. And even apparently Ruiz had said that he tried to get people out there, but then he was basically like they just kind of blew us off. They just like they didn't care type
yeah,
thing.
because they wanted his land. That's what he
Yeah.
said.
Yeah. They're like after his land. And so he's thinking that this is something all set up by the state. Like they're after his land, they're setting all this shit up. And that's why nobody's coming to help them. They're wanting to use this to get everybody to leave. And because at some point, Pedro and his brother, that's their plan. Like, we need to get the fuck out of here. Because
Agreed.
they've heard of this. They know something is up. And this is where we get to the part to where this movie really sucked me in. Because that night, Ruiz is at home with his pregnant wife. And
Oh, you are
doing
you
this
talking
shit.
about?
Did I skip something?
Are you talking about the night before they take the little truck drive or after?
Oh shit, that's right. That night, he's sitting there with his wife. And then he's just kind of like, fuck this. And he gets up and leaves. He drives out there to see Maria and
Yeah,
nasty thing laying in the bed. And he was going to kill this motherfucker. He comes in there with like gun in hand. And that's where you hear the little boy and them telling him, like, you can't kill it with a gun. If you kill it with a gun, it's going to kill you. Like,
yeah. If you kill it with a gun, it'll make it worse, and that's what. Even though Maria said that she called someone, the cleaner, to come kill her son, she
yeah,
wasn't going to let Ruiz do it with the gun because it was going to make everything worse and everyone was going to die.
yep.
That was basically what they were saying.
And so Ruiz is one, and it's crazy because this big fat nasty thing is looking at him and he's basically telling him, like, to kill me.
Oh, yeah, he's
Nasty.
taunting him. He's
Yeah,
fucking.
he's like wanting to kill him. But you can't do it that way. Because
Yeah, no, it's not. It's against the rules.
yeah, you can't do that. But then the demon that's inside the fat thing's telling Ruiz, he was like, kill me before I go and move. Basically telling him, I'm going to go inside of your wife's belly and take over your umbilical.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
I forgot about
like,
that.
at that moment, he brought up I'm going to possess your wife's child that's still inside her belly. I was like, he about to blow his fucking head off. Like, he's about to kill him. And
I was surprised when he didn't.
I know it, and he didn't. And Ruiz basically just leaves, goes back out to his truck, stays there the whole fucking night because the next day, here comes Ruiz's wife with the two brothers, Pedro and Jimmy, pull up.
Yep.
And he didn't do anything to the fat bastard in the bed at this time. And then they go.
Yeah, because his wife was freaking out, and then she runs in, she runs out. Oh my God, he didn't kill him. Thank God.
He didn't kill him. But Ruiz basically has a plan to like, hey man, we got to get this thing out of here, away from this area. So
yes,
he just load it up, get it out of there. And they go
pick it up by the sheets, even though fucking like that.
God,
That was like a whole like
nasty. nasty.
10-minute scene that was just so painful to
That was
watch.
so nasty because the funny part to me though was when they got in there and Pedro was kind of like, "We're not going to be able to get him out of here." Ruiz gave no fucks because he just
No.
let's just
Yeah.
chain him up by the feet and drag him down the road like a fucking pig. Like he was just going to
Yeah.
pick him up and drag him. And I was like, all for that. I was like, fuck yeah, Ruiz, let's do that.
Tie him up to the back of the fucking truck. Get his ass out.
Then talk to us about what the getting him out of the house.
So they end up fucking grabbing poor fucking Pedro gets the end of the bed, and when they fold Ruiz up because they end up grabbing the sheet underneath him, and it's real funny because they kind of like fucking roll the actor must have been amazing because at first when they get him off the bed, they like he fucking falls on the floor and I'm like in a slump. And I was like, oh, that must have sucked for that actor because it looks like he hit kind of hard. But then they eventually they get him out and they like kind of fold him in half and more like that shit, that nasty stuff spills out of his mouth because they're like squishing him and it's gross. And they get him into the back of Ruiz's truck, which by the way has a fucking tonneau cover.
Yes.
Props to Ruiz. I don't know who lives out in the middle of nowhere and has a nice truck like that, but they fucking haul him into the back of the box, close it up, and they drive. And Ruiz says, "We're gonna drive for hours and get the fuck away from here."
And when they're pulling him out of the house, I remember when they finally get the carrying him with the bed sheet. And the nasty part was when they finally get out of the house and it shows a close up of this fat thing laying there on this sheet. And you see the liquids just running out from it,
Oh yeah.
like so much bodily fluids just soaked up in the sheets and it's running out and the sheet tears and he just falls on the ground. And they're like, well, go get a blanket. So they, like I said, they load him up in the blanket. They got him in the truck and bam, they're driving off with him. And because at one point they're like, I don't know, understand the countries out there that use kilometers. I don't understand that shit. When this motherfucker said we're at like 300K out, what the fuck is that in miles, people?
Like 150 miles roughly.
Okay, see, and so I'm watching it. I'm going because he's like, we're like 300 kilometers out. Maybe we'll do another 100 more, and just trying to get him out of this area. And but then on the way out, all of a sudden you see Ruiz not paying attention to the fucking road.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is easily one of the first moments of the movie that could have been one of our iconic "fuck them kids" moments.
Oh,
But
I love a fuck them kids moment.
oh, this movie is full of them.
I thought we were going to get it right then.
I thought we were about to get a kid fucked up, but a kid like I can't remember if he's on his bike or not, but he's like going across the road and Ruiz just barely notices them in time and swerves just out of the way, and then they're all cursing at the kid because it was completely his fucking fault.
It was.
Yeah,
That little bastard should have been at home.
yeah, fuck yeah, outside being active. How dare he in
How dare you be
2023?
outside doing shit like riding a bike? You're
Oh
fucking
fuck. Go play an Xbox, fuck's sakes.
Go pick up your iPad, you little fuck. What the hell are you doing out here? Activities outside. But then they drive out there and
Yeah, they drive for a lot longer,
yeah,
by the way, because this scenery completely
yeah,
changes.
they get a minute away from the little local area where they're at. And their plan is that basically we're going to discard of this fucking fat bastard out here. So they pull up and you can tell it's like a little bridge looking thing. And they're talking about they could just basically throw him off to the side. They're going to leave him there. And so
In
Pedro,
the ditch.
yeah, they're just going to leave it there. Well, then Ruiz pops the tailgate on his nice little Dodge Ram truck and he makes a comment and you can tell shit is something ain't right. Something is not right. What's not right now? What's not right?
Uriel, the rotten possessed, is not in the back of the fucking truck.
Not at all.
He's gone.
Not there.
There's
And
not even slime in the back of that bitch to fucking tell you he was there.
yeah, there's like when he pops the tailgate, they walk up to it, and you see a little bit of slime running down the tailgate. But this is at the part where I didn't realize it at first, that it had a bed cover on it. And I'm like, okay, so the truck has a bed cover on it, and the tailgate is closed. How the fuck did Fat Bastard get out of said truck? And this is where when the brother looks down, you see this bullet sitting there in the slime. And I still, that part confused me because later on that night, yeah, because there was, when you see the slime in the tailgate, there is a bullet.
I don't remember the bullet. Oh my god, that's not even in my notes.
Yeah, because later on that night, after they had basically, they couldn't find the body, so they leave, they come back home. Ruiz drops them off at their house. That evening, you see the brother sitting at the Jimmy sitting at the kitchen table. He took that bullet because in the napkin he has like a little handkerchief, and he
Oh
pulled
yeah, yes.
that bullet was from the bed of the truck. And I never really understood that. It never really, that I know of, went back to it, what that bullet meant. Because later on, later on, the little boy comes to their house and they ask him if he's got a gun. And
Yeah.
he gives them the gun. And when they pull out the bullets of the gun, they said there's only 5 because the little boy had a revolver that held 6 bullets. And
Yeah.
Pedro makes the comment, he was like, oh, only 5 bullets? But that one bullet was in the back of the truck where Fat Bastard was at. And that I still to this, I never understood it. Even through the end, I don't know why that bullet, even when he pulled it out in the house that night, I don't know what that, I don't know. I was just kind of confused in that moment there.
Hmm.
But yeah,
That's a good thing to ponder. Oh my god.
yeah,
I'm gonna need to watch the movie again just to try and figure that out.
yeah. When he pops the tailgate, you'll see there's a bullet sitting there. And apparently the brother had some real sticky hands because the brother took the bullet,
Mm.
and then he also took a piece of the contraption that they found out there in the field where the half body dude was found, because he was sitting outside that night holding that piece of that contraption thing. And then now we're to the part of the movie to where this bad boy had me. I was like, fuck yeah, we are all in right now, people. That night, Ruiz and his pregnant wife at home having dinner.
Yes.
Ruiz's wife gets up, goes into the kitchen, whatever. A little thunderstorm. You see some thunderstorm shit going on outside.
Yeah, you can tell there's tension between the couple.
Yeah, there's Ruiz is a little stressed right now. He just tried to haul off Fat Bastard out in the middle of nowhere, lost this motherfucker, didn't know shit where he was at, but you could tell he's stressed. Well, that night at dinner, like I said, thunderstorms rolling in, whatever. Next morning, Ruiz is in the house. The wife is yelling for Ruiz.
Yes.
When Ruiz comes outside the house.
The wife is yelling about a goat that she sees that she says is the demon, I guess. She says that goat is different, that goat is off, that it's right there. And Ruiz goes and grabs his gun. And the wife says, don't fucking do it.
Because there was a bunch of goats. Remember, there was like a bunch of them. And when he grabs the gun, he shoots, and they all go running except one. That one goat.
Yeah, he's just eyeing him up. He's like, do it.
Yeah. He's like, fuck you, dude.
You won't.
You and your shotgun. The goat gave him a stare down in that moment. Him and the goat.
They were like eye to eye. The goat was like, do it. You won't, pussy.
Yeah. All the other goats, when he pulled the trigger, took off running. But this one goat with the fucking little horns and shit, he's looking at him like, fuck you and your little shotgun, dude. And
speaking of the horns, this is something I noticed. This is the first part of my notes for this scene is when Ruiz turns to the goat
yeah,
with the shotgun, Do you notice that when it's the shot where you see the back of Ruiz's head, that you see the fucking horns?
Yeah, I did notice that. It almost looked like Ruiz had the horns.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't notice that the first time. So it's a demon of some sorts.
Yeah, that was a
But
super.
yeah, it's fucking there.
Yeah, that was a super cool
I
shot.
was
It looked like that. Yep.
That
And
was like the first part of my notes for this scene. I was so pumped. I thought I was the only one that noticed that. But
no, that was a
that is,
cool shot. I liked it. And then uh Ruiz has got the shotgun pointed at the goat. The wife is telling him, don't shoot it. It's like she knows the rules, people. She knows
yep.
don't use the gun. She goes over and grabs an axe. And so he got the axe. She's telling fucking Ruiz, don't shoot it. Well, this little fucking badass Billy goat is him and Ruiz are eye lock, man. And the coolest part is where the fucking goat starts stepping toward the gun.
Oh yeah.
And it shows the little goat's legs. And he's like taking a step, just like, what you gonna do, bitch? What you gonna do? And walks all the way up to the barrel of the gun. And
Touches his forehead to it.
that shit to me was like, oh, that fucking goat is telling you, bitch, like you ain't got the balls to pull the fucking trigger. And
Yes.
what happens next?
Ruiz, unfortunately, the goat could not call his bluff. Ruiz pulls the trigger, and as soon as Ruiz does that, the wife also pulls the trigger and fucking smashes Ruiz in the side of the face with the axe she was holding.
Oh, dude, that came out of nowhere.
First time I watched this movie, that blindsided me. I thought when the wife grabbed the axe, it was to defend herself against the goat.
Yeah, like I had seen it and it had been so long that when this happened today, I rewatched it. And the I forget what set it off. The goat made a little bah sound. And
Yeah.
made that sound. Fucking Ruiz pulled the trigger, blowed him in the fucking head.
Oh,
And
blew his fucking head off. Like,
yeah,
blew his face. Killing.
yep. And as soon as he did it, you seen the axe come off the side and just right in his fucking head. Down goes Ruiz. I'm like,
Right
what?
into the side of his face. No hesitation. No
Done.
nothing. His wife was like, "This is done."
And then what the wife do next?
Dude, okay, hold on. I'm gonna read my notes for this part. It says Ruiz's wife then kills herself by slamming the same axe she chopped her husband in the face with into her own face several times until she did not have the strength to continue slamming it into her face.
Yeah. And
That's how she goes out.
yeah, this scene, this movie is at no matter what could have happened afterwards, this movie had me right now. Like we are in this bad boy to the end, because
Oh, I was so pumped for it. I was like, "This is awesome." They just killed off a pregnant lady.
yeah, I did not see any of that coming. Like when he shot, and next thing you know, she fucking axed him to the head, and then she just kind of kneels on the ground, and she takes that axe, dude, and it's just like, and it wasn't some off-camera shit. That first pop to the head,
You watch the whole thing. It's
was still
fucking
surprising.
disgusting. It's amazing.
Like when she kneeled down, I was expecting her, she's going to cry, she's going to whatever, scream. And then as soon as she kneels, you just see her kind of look at the axe and she just pops her fucking head with it. I'm just like, what the fuck are we doing right now?
And the scene goes on like a smidge too long too. Like the last swing, she like there was no strength. She was like,
she,
tack.
old girl had some, just that whole part from the time that he walked out there with them goats, man, this movie had me at that moment. And so then the brothers are back home. We're back at the brothers' house, Jimmy and Pedro. This is where they get a knock on the door, and that little fucking teenage boy who was the son to Maria and Fat Bastard. He was
Yes.
there.
No, Uriel was his older brother.
Yeah, so but Maria was his mother.
Yes, yeah. Maria was a mom, but the fat bastard was his older brother.
Okay, got you. And so then little
I
boy,
think, anyways.
I think it was too. Um, because then the little boy shows up at their house. And this little boy, I say teenager, he looked like it may have been 12, 13, maybe somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And he shows up to Pedro and it's to his house, and he's talking to him, and they answer the door. And the little boy tells him the guy went to Ruiz's house. He went to Ruiz's house, and him and his wife both were dead. Little boy looking for a place to stay. He says he don't want to go back home.
Yeah.
And so then you just
It's
think,
too cold. He says he's freezing to
yeah,
death.
yeah. So you just thinking the little boy's traumatized. He's seen some shit. So luckily Pedro was smart enough to be like, you're not staying in this fucking house. There's a barn out there. You go put your ass in the damn barn and you're gonna be gone tomorrow. Because the plan for Pedro and his brother is to get the fuck out of town. Like,
And his brother Jimmy is fucking smart. He goes, "Hey, Pedro, he's packing." And Pedro goes, "All right, yeah, give me your gun first before you fuck
yeah,
off."
yeah. He does have that little revolver because that's when they come back in the house and where he takes the bullets out and there's only 5 of them
Yeah.
because that one was in the truck bed. So the next morning, sun comes up. All you see is fucking Pedro and his brother Jimmy heading out. They take nothing with them. Basically, hey, don't take no clothes, don't take no memories, don't take nothing. Like it's just me and you
Yeah.
in this truck. We're leaving here to basically go into town because Pedro has some kids from an ex-wife.
Yes.
And
Before we get to this, is there any chance I could go scooch over and grab myself a refill?
oh, most definitely. Shit. Hold on. We're going to go ahead. This is a pause in the show, people, where Dylan's got to get him a refill. So this that part we just sit here and you get to listen to me take sips of my gentleman and Jack while Dylan goes and gets him a refill. Also, people also make sure to go check out Criminal AF and True Crime University, part of the debauched family. If you're into true crime, you'll love these shows. Go give them a listen, check them out, like, subscribe, follow along. That's like a commercial within the show without it actually being a commercial. But I'm not sure where Dylan keeps his beer. But yeah, go check out Criminal AF, True Crime University. Dave and Garrett on Criminal AF, Debbie on True Crime University. Such great shows. Dave and Garrett bring a lot of true crime stuff, but also got a nice little, it's got some comedy to it. It's fun to listen to also. Debbie, part of the debauch family with True Crime University. I say all the time, she's the smart one in the family. She's the one that's got all the education and shit like that. But go give them a listen, go check them out. Be sure to follow along. While we wait on Dylan, I don't know what next week's episode is going to be.
All right, I'm back.
Oh,
Sorry, my bad.
Look who's back.
Ugh.
Refill complete.
Refill complete.
All right. So we were at the part to where Pedro and
Heading to ex-wife's house.
Yep, going to the ex-wife Sabrina's house. They get to the house, and at first it kind of threw me because Pedro gets out of the truck, and then all of a sudden Jamie just drives off with the truck. You find out later what's going on, but I was kind of like, where the fuck did brother go? Pedro goes up to the house and starts ringing the doorbell. This was the part of the movie where I got a little bit annoyed because he's ringing this doorbell because Pedro's in a hurry. He knows some shit's going down. He's beating on the door, ringing the doorbell, and if I'd have been the person inside the house, I would have been flipping the fuck out.
Pissed as fuck, right?
Yeah. So he comes to the door. What happens when Leo? I think his name's Leo.
I honestly could tell you I don't remember this dude's name because this is one of the parts of the movie. You know how you told me where the ex-wife earlier was pissing you off later on in this scene?
Yep.
The stepdad pissed me off in the beginning of this scene because he pokes his fucking little head out the little crack of the door and he sees, the father of his old stepsons,
Mm-hmm.
begging him to get into his house, and he's like, does my wife know?
Oh yeah.
Does she know that you're here?
Yeah.
And then he just lets him in. And I'm pretty sure. Hold on, wait. Where's my notes? I call him so many things. Moron, coward, ass, bitch.
Yeah.
That's what I called him.
You can tell in that household, Sabrina kept his fucking balls in her purse somewhere. Like,
Oh, tight nip
yeah,
under like lock
yeah.
and key. Absolutely.
When Sabrina said jump, Leo was just like, how high? How high, baby? How high you want me to jump? You could just tell. She ran that house. And the funny part was when he comes in there, he's telling him, like, go get Sabrina, go get me a change of clothes. And he just kind of goes into like this little dining room area and he starts stripping down, like Pedro getting butt naked up in there.
Oh,
And
absolutely. At fourth base too. Like no boxers left on, nothing. He's
no,
just
no, he's just straight up
cupping himself.
butt naked. And when he's doing this, I noticed this big ass fucking dog is kind of like sniffing on him a lot.
Mm.
And so next thing you know, here comes Sabrina. She's holding the little girl because apparently her and Leo have a daughter together named Vicky. Her and Pedro had two sons together. And so she's holding a little girl and she's kind of like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's still standing here like butt naked, like you need to get some clothes. And then we see the dog again really sniffing these clothes. And
Yeah.
I put in my notes, I was like, why is this dog? Why is it showing the dog sniffing the clothes so much? And then I put in my notes, I wonder if this dog is going to get some type of possessed, you know. Um, and
I
this
I
is
have something very similar in my notes because I don't know if I watched this movie like for the first time. I don't know if it was longer ago than you. Like you said, it's been like half of a year almost. I think it's only been like a couple months.
yeah.
But when I recognized the dog sniffing the clothes, I put the dog sniffing the clothes. He fuck them kids.
We're definitely going to get to that part. Um, and this is where the part of the movie where I get really annoyed because this is where there's going to be so much screaming, so much yelling, so much arguing. And I'm not an arguing type of person. I'm not a yelling type of person. And so when I'm having to listen to all this, I'm getting really annoyed with like Sabrina and all of them. And Pedro's just trying to get his fucking kids out there. He's basically telling the little son, "Hey, go pack a bag, go get your other
Mhm.
brother, and we got to go." Um, they're sitting there, and then the little girl, while they're arguing in the kitchen, this is my favorite part of this movie because they're all arguing in the kitchen. We got Pedro, baby mama, and then Leo. They're all arguing. Like, and because Sabrina has fucking lost it and nobody's listening to anybody, it's just a bunch of fucking yelling. And
Oh
then
yeah.
we get Vicky, the little girl, and it shows us from like the dining room area. Vicky standing next to this dog, big ass dog. I don't know what kind of dog it is. Remind me of the dog off a movie. Oh,
Big mastiff like dog,
yeah.
yeah.
An older movie years ago called that had Tom Hanks in it. It was like a
I thought you were gonna say Cujo.
no. There was a movie years and years ago that had Tom Hanks in it with a dog that kind of that reminded me of that, and I can't remember the name of it. Turner and Hooch.
Oh
That's the name of it. Turner
yeah,
and Hooch.
Tucker and Hooch.
Yeah, Turner. Is it Turner or Tucker?
Turner.
Okay, I have to look it up. But that's what the dog reminded me of.
The dog's definitely named Hooch though.
Yeah, most
That,
definitely. And so you see Vicky standing next to the dog, and
mm,
you can see the camera looking into the kitchen. They're all in there yelling and arguing. And Vicky looks at the dog, and this dog is making some heavy breathing right now. Like you can
oh
hear
yeah.
the dog breathing. And what happens next? Tell us about my favorite part of this movie.
It is, and I'll be honest, this is one of like the most visceral parts of the movie where if you're not into this kind of horror, it's gonna make you probably fucking cringe and not maybe pause the movie, take a lap around your couch. Hooch, we're gonna call him because I don't remember the name of the dog. I called him Cujo in my notes.
I don't
But
remember either.
Hooch or Cujo, whatever you want to call him. Basically, you're looking at like back frames of these two, Vicky and the dog, and then Vicky turns towards Hooch, and Hooch just fucking mauls Vicky in the face, and then pulls her out of the screen. And you see it. It's not an off-screen thing. You see him bite her in the face and then rip her off of screen.
Hey, I hit the rewind button because it was just so unexpected. Because it honestly, you do not see this coming because
No,
it's one of those movies, and that's where I give them props for just full on sending it, a full on fuck them kids. And when, like I said, we're gonna call him Hooch. When Hooch was just sitting there looking at her, and she's looking at Hooch, and when he does it, when he lunges at her, and it's just like grabs her bites her right in the face, and then it kind of like you see him dragging her off, and I'm just like, because I can still remember the first time I seen it, and even though I know watching it today again, I knew it was coming, and but I can still remember the it's been a while since I've seen it, but I still remember that first time of watching this and that moment. Like people could tell you about it. Like I could tell you, like, hey, there's a part where this dog bites this girl in the fucking face. Me telling you about it, it doesn't matter. You got to watch,
no.
be there, and because you're so caught up in everything that's going on.
It feels real.
Yeah, like when he fucking grabs her, and then the crazy part was the brother, the youngest son, the one that
Santino
Santino, he's standing on the stairs. He sees it. He comes down
watches literally the whole fucking thing.
and this is the part where I'm getting annoyed at the parents
Yeah.
because they're all fucking yelling and arguing, and our little dude Santino just trying to come in there and be like, "Hey, y'all might want to go check on your little girl over here."
Something's happening with the dog and Vicky.
Oh man, it was funny though when old little Sandino looked under the table and Hooch had her by the head like a little chew toy, just like
Yeah, and then just fucking
around, man. I was like, holy fuck. And then when he finally gets the parents' attention, the fucking dad Leo comes in there and he was just like, whatever the dog's name was, like he bit Vicky.
yeah.
Thought, he was just kind of casual about it, like, well, you mean he bit her? And when he looked under the table and fucking Hooch come running out.
Not even running. He's fucking barely trotting, and Leo's like in shock. He's like, barely reaches for him. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. Even if that dog was 13 years in my life, if he's crawling away with my kid in his jaws, I'm
Yeah.
killing that fucking dog.
Had the girl in his mouth. Like, it wasn't like he just jumped at Leo. No, Hooch walked by Leo, girl hanging out of his mouth, went right out the front door and took off.
And then, yeah, ran around the fucking block. Like,
yeah. And that's when all hell breaks loose in the fucking house, where Sabrina is straight up losing her fucking mind. Leo goes running out after him.
Gets in, yeah. He starts running, and Pedro goes running after him, and Pedro's like, fucking stop.
Yeah. And Pedro at some point, I couldn't tell if Pedro was just out of fucking breath and he ain't used to running. Because at some point he just kind of stops and he's just kind of like, all right, I'm going back to the house. Because in Pedro's mind, it has to be in his mind, that's not my kid.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
is yours and my ex-wife's kids. My two kids are still back at the house. So he goes back to the house and he's like, hey, I'm gonna get my kids. Like, I'm getting my kids out of here,
Yeah.
And so I remember when they come back to the house, because I think Leo comes back in the house because that's when he goes and grabs a gun, doesn't he?
Yeah, Leo comes back, he grabs the gun, and Pedro says, "Don't go shoot him.
Yeah.
That's not okay." Because and again, shout out to earlier when I think Maria was it, the mother of Uriel and
Yeah.
the little boy, when she said, "Don't shoot him. That's against the rules. Don't do that. You can't use a gun." So
But
Pedro's begging fucking Leo. You said,
yeah, I think his name was Leo.
yeah, he's begging Leo not to do it. Leo takes off in his truck with his gun and he just goes. And Sabrina's still freaking out. And this is when we find out that Jair, Jair,
Jair.
Jair, he's got autism, autistic, I think is what they say he is.
Is it wrong in my notes? I put window liquor. Window liquor.
No, it's not. He needs water wings to eat soup, needs a helmet to do just about anything.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah, no.
that's what I put in my notes. Window liquor.
Yes, Jair is the window licker of the family.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I remember, like, before he goes and gets Jair, remember Pedro runs out of the house when Leo takes off because he comes across a couple of police officers. And we already kind of know from earlier on, people, the police in this town fucking suck. And
Yes, they do.
he's basically telling him, like, hey, there's this dog, and he's telling him, like, don't shoot the dog. And so he goes running off to try to find where Leo went. And right before he runs off, he hears a gunshot. He goes around the corner, and there is Leo shooting the dog. So
Yeah, he shot Hooch. He shot him fucking good.
like, shouldn't shoot the dog, but he shot the dog. So Pedro turns around, going back home. When Pedro gets back to the house, guess who's out front of the house reunited?
Vicky and her mama.
Yes, the same little girl that got drug off by Hooch is back home.
Bit in the goddamn face, not a mark on her.
Nope, back home with mama now, out front. And mom's like, kind of like, where's Leo? Leo's still out and about, but now Vicky's back. Nothing wrong with Vicky at all. Pedro,
It's a miracle.
yeah. Pedro sees it. Pedro's like, fuck this. I'm getting out of here. That's when he goes upstairs, grabs Jair, and basically, like, they come back downstairs and we got to go.
Yeah.
And so another cool part that I liked, while Pedro's upstairs getting his two sons, back out front, we see Sabrina with Vicky, and Vicky's kind of hugging her. And this is where Vicky leans up and whispers to her mom that Daddy is going to kill you.
And before that, it's so funny because her mom is like, "Are you okay?" And Vicky's shaking her head. No. She's like, "No, I'm not okay." And then she leans in, she's like, "Daddy's gonna run you over."
Oh.
And basically tells her mother exactly how she's about to die. And that's what happens.
Yep. Because Pedro and his two sons, they finally find the keys. They take Sabrina's car. They're backing out of the driveway. When they back out of the driveway, Sabrina's kind of looking at Pedro. And when he goes to drive off, you see he has to stop all of a sudden. Well, coming straight toward him is Leo in his little fucking pickup truck. He swerves. And when he swerves, bam, there's fucking Sabrina sitting in the fucking driveway as Leo plows her against the fucking side of the house with that fucking truck.
Technically, he hits her and fucking Vicky.
Yeah,
but then
with her.
2 seconds later, he looks over and Vicky's just dancing in the fucking driveway.
He picks his head up from the airbag, which was odd to me because that truck looked like it would never have an airbag in it. It was just one of them trucks that, like, there's no way that truck's got an airbag in it, but it did.
Yeah, that airbag's been used and taken out and never replaced. Yeah.
Yeah, but he picks his head up And when you see him look off to the side, there's Vicky just doing this little happy dance. Like, and Pedro got the two kids in the car. He sees it go down. But Pedro to the point now where he's just like, you know what? I got my two kids. I got to go. Fuck Sabrina and all that shit. I'm leaving. So he takes off, goes to pick up his brother. And that's where his brother went earlier.
Yeah.
He goes to pick up their mother. And so they go to pick her up. And so basically it is the two brothers, Pedro, Jimmy, the grandmother, and then the two sons of Pedro are trying to get the fuck out of Dodge. Like they're getting out of town.
Yeah, but only Jimmy and Pedro know that they're actually trying to get the fuck out of Dodge.
Yeah.
They don't tell their mother nothing. They don't tell the kids anything, but they tell the kids they're going to get apple ice cream, which by the way, I've never heard of.
I haven't either.
Oh, okay. I'm so glad. I thought maybe it was like a down south thing.
No, I have no clue what apple ice cream is. And so I wasn't sure either. And this this part where they stop at this gas station and you could tell they had no plan because they're just getting out of town.
Absolutely.
Because they stopped to get like gas. And you hear Pedro basically coming back out to the car. They have no food, no money for food, no money for gas, no plan. And
no money for ice cream.
Yeah. And all they have bought is I seen was a fucking popsicle that they gave fucking the window liquor to hold on.
Well, he's a popsicle liquor now. Right?
And he's sitting there like you could tell like something's going on with Jair. He just kind of leaned up against the window. He's making this moaning sound and he ain't saying nothing, but he's holding the popsicle. The popsicle's melting. And then the phone rings.
Yes.
Come to find
it's
out.
It's the mother's phone too, which is hilarious.
Yeah. The grandmother.
If you think about what happened later.
Yeah. The grandmother calls. She gets a phone call on her phone because the two brothers said they weren't taking anything with them, like bring nothing. So grandmother gets a phone call on her phone. It is Sabrina, the same Sabrina that we just seen get fucking plowed into the side of the house by the pickup truck.
And not in a good way either, just obliterated into the side of the house. She is definitely not alive.
And at first though, like when Pedro grabs the phone because the little boy Sandino, whatever his name, wants to talk to her. Well, Pedro grabs the phone, and
yeah,
the one part that was kind of odd to me is when he grabs the phone and he gets out of the car and he starts walking. Whoever this was, grandma must not have had a voicemail or anything set up on her phone because this thing rang and rang and rang. Never went to a voicemail.
Oh yeah, it had like an infinite ring. I was very concerned about that because my phone rings like 3 times and then sends you to voicemail.
This thing was nonstop. And then I'm catching Pedro walks away from the car because I get it, like maybe he doesn't want to hear them. He don't want them to hear it. But I'm just like, how fucking far do you need to walk, dude? Like, just answer the damn phone. And so
just go sit on the fucking trunk, man.
I am like talking to the TV as I'm watching it, and I'm like saying, like, answer the fucking phone. But he keeps on walking, and he keeps on walking all the way out to like the road. And when he answers it, it's Sabrina, but you can tell by the way she's talking to him that this isn't Sabrina.
Well, I don't know because she was being pretty fucking nasty when she first saw him in that house.
Yeah, and this is true because she got real fucking nasty with him on the phone though.
She got extra nasty when she was on the phone. Well, sorry, when she quotations around it being Sabrina was on the phone. But yeah, she called and she started saying some nasty shit. I know where you are. This is why I cheated on you. You ain't shit for nothing.
She told him she fucked everyone. She goes, I fucked everyone. And
yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And then one of the lines she said to him was, you gave me a broken son, talking about window liquor. And she's like, you gave me a broken son. And I'm just like, oh shit, like this dude is going in on him. And a funny part to me was when Pedro got mad and finally hung up the phone, and he did this like little throw the phone down on the dirt road, and then he tries to
Yeah.
like, you're not breaking the phone, dude. Like he tries to stomp on it. And I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Just stop. You look silly.
And then when he throws it on the road afterwards, it like
Oh,
breaks into like three pieces. You're like, no, no, that's not how that happened. But that's fine. Yeah.
yeah, as silly as he looked trying to stomp on the phone, that you could tell was doing nothing. When he picked the phone up to throw it, he had a straight up chicken wing throw. It's just like he had that like a little like just a chicken wing trying to.
Yeah.
This phone literally went like 2 feet from him and hit the road again. And I'm just like, come on, Pedro, like you really suck.
Pedro is not an athlete. We're
Like,
we're gonna leave it there.
nothing
Yeah.
about Pedro says athlete. He was out of gas earlier trying to run down the road. He obviously can't throw a ball 2 feet away. Like Pedro is sucking at life right now because
And before, because we find out that like he wasn't shit in that phone call. He was
yeah,
never supposed to be around his kids. He wasn't supposed
yeah.
to be around his wife. All sorts of shit. So he's
Pedro,
always been kind of like a failure.
yeah, Pedro has sucked at life for a long time. And
Mhm.
it all starts coming together. Next thing you know, after he throws the phone, he sits down, his brother comes out there. He's leaning against his tire and he starts kind of crying and shit. And I mean, in my notes I put in there, I was like, uh, Pedro, you suck at life. You are a little bitch. That was my notes on Pedro. Um, I just didn't. He just kind of like come across like and he got better, as it kind of went along. But that's this one part where he's like out in the road crying. I'm like, just stop. And
Yeah,
then
he kind of punked himself out there.
yeah, and then the brother apparently knows a lady. Um, I don't remember her fucking name, but
Mirta.
Mirta, there you go. Mirta, he knows a lady that they can possibly go to who has some experience in this shit and can possibly give them some money. Uh,
Hmm.
they get out there to Mirta's house. This this part. Mirta comes out there, tries to be nice. She's like, "Hey, I got plenty of room, need a place to stay." Pedro is dead set on getting out of Dodge, like getting to the city or whatever. He's like, "Nope, we just need the money, whatever, whatever." Uh, the brother's like, "We can't get us the money till Monday at the bank," so they're kind of stuck there for a day or so. I don't know what day it is. While this is going on, Grandma leans forward and tells Pedro that Javier,
Oh yeah,
the window licker,
Jair.
needs to be changed. Even even the little boy pops his head up in the window of the door, and he was just kind of telling Dad like, he himself.
I I will tell you that the Santino popping his head up and going, "Hey, Jair needs to be changed,"
Yeah.
is one of my favorite parts of the movie because
Yep.
it's so relatable to me. One of my kids running up to me and being like, "Hey, Marlo stinks," and then I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I'll go change his butt."
But
But it
funny,
made me fucking like cackle in the middle of a like an existential crisis movie. I was like cackling, laughing at that part. So
but the part that got me was after this, it shows the brother and Maerta in the house. They're talking. Uh
yeah,
and
Jimmy.
yeah, they look out the window, and out the window, I see Pedro with a bucket. And so then I'm thinking to myself, okay, uh, Jair has shit himself in the car. So what's the plan here, people? Like, just because the window liquor teenager shits himself, do y'all just like take him out of the car and pull out a water hose and just spray it down?
Spray him off.
Then he's got like a water bucket. They're at the car. He doesn't bring him inside or anything. They're at the car. And so I'm like, you like pull him out of the car, drop his pants, take the water hose out, spray it down like a whatever, and then, button him back up, put him back in the car. I don't know. But all I seen was the bucket. And I'm like, And even in the car, you could see like somebody was kind of like in the back seat in the car. So like, did y'all lay down Jair like a fucking toddler? Did you like lay him down the back seat, like pick your legs up there, window licker, while we fucking take you off and spray you down in the back seat, and then we're gonna put your shit back on again. Like,
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was all that well thought out because when they brought the bucket out, I was like, what the fuck? How big was this shit?
yeah, like y'all just got Jared. Just I'm kind of curious because you can see in this part like somebody is in at the window in the back seat of the car. So I'm just curious, like, is Jair sitting there like, is he holding his own ankles up? Like if he has his legs up, or is he holding his ankles up while grandma like takes a rag and wipes up his fucking asshole for him, like he can do nothing apparently. And
Yeah,
so,
nothing but lick windows.
yeah, and so this whole part, I'm laughing at this part because I'm kind of curious in my mind. I'm like going, is he in the back seat holding his own feet up while he gets his ass cleaned by Pedro and Grandma? Like, I don't know.
Or grandma's holding the feet up and it's like a two-person effort.
It could be. Maybe it's a little threesome. Maybe they're just, I don't know how to get down there. Maybe that's, I don't know. But it was just like,
I've
and
never changed a butt that big, to be honest. I
I
wouldn't
haven't
know.
either. I haven't either. I've never changed a diaper on a fucking teenager at that age. Not sure how that would go. But the fucking especially the window looker part really stuck out to me when he was holding the popsicle in his hand. That's the part that
Yeah.
was just like, if I wanted to entertain him, I would have just smeared that motherfucking popsicle on the window and just
Or
let,
some peanut butter.
yeah, and just let him. The road trip would have been fine the rest of the way. Just let him lick away as we're fucking driving up the road.
And everybody that ever passes you is just gonna be
Like,
like,
that
what
dude
the
licking the
fuck?
window. Like, hey man, I just put some fresh popsicle on there for him. He's gonna be okay, you know. But and that's what maybe I'm watching. I laughed at that shit, and then so after they have changed Javier's fucking shitty diaper, they are all kind of it's night time now. Everybody's in the house, time to go to sleep type shit. Everybody looks to be asleep. Uh,
Yeah.
next thing you know, Jair's still in the car. He refuses to get out of the car. Apparently, he just wants to sit in the car. He doesn't want to get out. So, Pedro's
Yeah,
out.
that was in my notes. Says when he was visiting Mirda's house. Uh oh, this is also when we found out that Jimmy and Mirda used to have a thing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then for some reason, Jair won't leave the car, and then I have nasty ass car windows
Oh yeah.
in hyphens because the one scene where he's looking out the window and it's literally like I'm sure it's probably just like rain drop, stains, but the fucking windows of that car, if he was licking them, he's getting diseases.
Or he sucks at his job. Your job was to
Oh,
clean windows,
yeah.
Jair. Clean the fucking windows, and you suck at it. You have one job, guy. Lick the windows.
God damn it. He
Yeah.
had one
Job.
fucking purpose in life.
Here you are in the back seat, fucking shitting yourself, and you can't even clean the fucking windows. You suck.
Oh,
So,
I wish I would have put that in my notes. Oh,
hey, that's why we're here, people. But so when we catch Jair in the car, you see somebody come walking up the car, bloody hand on the window, and then we're in the house. Mayerta is not asleep; she's still awake. Um, Grandma wakes up, and this is another little
yeah.
part to me. When Grandma wakes up, what happens when Grandma wakes up?
She sees Sabrina, who
Mm,
was supposed to be smushed, holding Santino in her arms,
yep,
and Santino's barely awake.
yeah,
Like, even if that, he's barely awake. So then they go running out to the car where Pedro stayed with Jair because, again, Jair refused to get out of the car.
yeah.
And Jimmy goes, "There's something happening." Dude, give me more detail than that. I don't that line in that moment Sabrina's in the house. Sabrina has Santino in her arms.
Yep.
Sabrina's covered in blood and she's walked into this house. That will make me move a lot faster than there's something happening.
Yeah, I was the same way. I'm like, you could be, and then I blame shitty ass grandma because grandma may have came downstairs and the grandma not give all the fucking details. Like, did she just come down there half ass out of it? And because even when Pedro gets in the house, then she's like, "Oh, Sabrina's upstairs." I'm like, "Bitch, y'all could have led with that at the car."
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
lead with that. Like, Sabrina's got little Junior upstairs. And
And how did she not notice all the blood on Sabrina?
grandma says she had took her sleeping pills. So maybe
Ah, fair. No, that's true.
Granny may have had the good shit that knocks her on out, you know. So when Pedro goes up there, he sees fucking Sabrina basically like, I came to get my kids, and she just decides to just step off the little balcony thing there at the window. Just go step right off the thing.
Yep.
And at this point,
Santino in her arms and all.
yeah, at this point, when she jumps off the balcony, he goes off running downstairs, yelling. They all go out there. Nobody's there. Sabrina's gone. Sandino's gone. And at this part, I'm going, is fucking Pedro imagining all this shit? Or is it really happening? Like, is this, and that's just what I'm thinking.
Oh.
I'm like, is this shit just in his head? Is the demon just fucking with Pedro? At this point, I was thinking that I was like, because at this point, nobody, grandma may have seen some shit, but then all of a sudden, there's nobody there when she jumps. Then Mayerta, they start talking to Mayerta about everything, and
Yeah.
we're getting close to the end, so we're going to kind of like wrap it up. And so they have a plan to basically they've got to kill this thing. Apparently, he tells her about how they tried to get rid of this rotten demon, and she basically calls them idiots. Like when they tell
Oh
her,
yeah, she fucking rips them apart basically. She's like,
yeah,
"You guys are fucking stupid."
yeah, like why would you do that? And so the plan is they got to go back to that area to figure out where this thing is.
Where Uriel ended up after he
Yes,
fucking fell out of the back of the
yes.
truck.
The only part I was trying to figure out was the reason why Jimmy, the brother, why he went at what did they send him out just to go look for Sabrina and the little boy?
He offered, he said, because when remember Mirta says they feed off of your fear. So if you are afraid of something, the demon is going to do it just because. If you're not afraid, then it's not. So
Okay.
they sent Jimmy out to go look for Sabrina and Santino. And I wasn't sure if we were going to get to that part, but that's one of my favorite fucking parts of this
Oh yeah,
whole movie.
it was a good part because I was wondering like I missed the part where he had offered to do it because I was trying to figure out like where are you going because Pedro and Mayerta have a plan to go because she has one of these contraption things.
Yeah,
And
she's a cleaner.
yeah, she's a cleaner. And so they're going to go handle that. And I was trying to figure out like what the fuck is the brother doing just riding down the road, flipping his lights on and off. But it makes sense now because I totally missed that part where he talked about going to look for him. And what did he find on his little road trip?
Eventually, as Jimmy is flicking his lights on and off, because that's one of the 7 rules,
Yep.
no electric lights. That's literally the first rule, no electric lights. So he's flicking his lights on and off in the car, and eventually he sees Sabrina walking down the road. Well, I guess stumbling down the road, and she's looking like she's eating a fucking bag of candy almost, but the bag of candy is Santino's fucking head.
Fuck yeah.
And she's
Fuck them.
eating his goddamn brains. Fuck them
Yeah.
kids.
And it took me a second, even if I've seen it, a while ago. I watched it today. And because I remember asking myself when he sees her, I was like, is that Sabrina? And then when he gets closer to her, and you see it because you see her take her hand and she's holding him and she takes
Yeah.
it in and like right in the top of his head. and pulls some shit out, and you see her eating it, and I'm just like,
You
oh
see it even like fly all over the road
yeah.
at one point.
She's
That
like
like if this
dropping,
movie was in 3D, it would have been good.
yeah, like she's dropping pieces of little Junior's brains out on the road while she's walking, and that was super cool when the brother decided I'm just gonna run this bitch down, like
Oh yeah. He lost his temper in this moment. He fucking lost his mind here.
keep going.
He he stops, I think. I can't remember if he lets her walk by or if he backs up first.
He let
But
her
he
walk by.
waits. Yeah, he waits until she's in front of him, and then he like scoops her up on the hood of the car, drives her into the biggest fucking tree he can,
Yep.
and just smash and takes no prisoners. He is done at that point. He is fucking. He's like, you know what? I'm done with demons. I'm done with this bitch. I'm done with my brother.
Because at some point when it shows him again, like she's like laying in the window, but he smashed her against a tree, and she's kind of like
With
her,
a hole in her fucking
yeah,
head and brains
yeah.
pouring out. Oh, fucking cool part of the movie.
And she looks up at him and she's like, I thought you loved me. And then when she said that, my mind again went to racing. I was like, did the brother have a crush on the sister? On the
Right? So much exposition and lore that's just not explored.
Yeah, like that when she said, I thought you loved me, in a way of like at some point, did the brother of Pedro have a thing for Pedro's wife, ex-wife, whatever, at some
I
point?
think so.
But and that was kind of like, okay, maybe y'all had a thing at some point. Um, and then we the
Are
end.
we going to spoil the ending?
I'm not gonna spoil the ending. I feel sure enough
Okay.
people have seen it, but we're not gonna spoil it. The complete ending of it, where it kind of all kind of comes together. But did you like the ending?
I loved the ending of this movie.
I,
Not not particularly maybe the exact way that it ended, but the fact that there's no real easy way to not spoil that this is not the happiest ending for a horror movie that there could ever be.
it's
I'll
horror.
put it to you that way.
It's not supposed to be happy.
Yeah, it's the ending of this movie is it's not a generic horror movie where the final girl is the winner or some shit. This movie makes you like want a second one almost.
I was okay with the ending on it. Especially with a little boy out in the barn, how he
Mm,
kind of wraps up a little bit,
yeah, everything comes a little full
Yeah.
circle. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Once they talk to him and you start being like, oh shit, okay, now that makes sense. So I was glad when that happened. I like the ending for that reason. Um I yeah, I had no problems with the ending of it. I was okay with everything about it. Um
No, I was watching this movie the first time. I was like, this is a great movie. They've got so much that's like dragging me into it. I'm scared that the ending is going to ruin it, and the
yeah,
ending didn't ruin it, which was the best thing about this movie for me.
because I've watched a few movies where they're doing so good, and then they get to the
Yeah.
ending and they fucking fumble the ball. And this one, in my opinion, did not fumble the ball. It was if it for me, it was the little boy in the barn. That's what kind of brought it all together for me, and it made it all kind of like make sense as the ending come up. So completely good with the ending. But yeah, so where are you? This is that part of the show, people, where we give our rating. Fuck, Mary, kill. So Dylan, OG fuckhead, where you at on this one?
I am fucking this one because I don't think I'm gonna watch it regularly. It's definitely going to be one of those movies where if my friends are into this type of horror, I will recommend it. So it is a high level of fuck for me. It
Mhm.
is not a Mary by any means because I mean I subtitles aren't really a movie I like to watch all the time. It's not exactly a feel good movie by any means. So if you want to watch this every day, all day, then I mean, go call it doctor. But what about you? What are you doing?
I was to. It was almost. I'm going to have to say it's a fuck for me, but when I say fuck, this one was such a good fuck
Hmm.
that um it was almost to the Mary for me. Almost.
Yeah, yeah,
It
exactly.
was such, in my opinion, this movie had it all for me. It was just it checked all the boxes for me. It gave me that, like, had my attention in the first 10 minutes. It gave me some good kills. It gave me the gore type thing. It gave me just the fuck them kids, and it checked all the boxes.
And fuck them dogs.
Yeah, fuck them dogs. Fuck, people. I'm not an animal person. I'm not at all an animal person. So when I see shit go down in movies when it comes to animals, it does not phase me at all. So any movie that will take that route and fuck them kids, fuck them animals, I'm okay with them. But this one checked all the boxes, and I am it is a fuck for me. A friends with benefits, but it is almost to the Mary. It was close.
Yeah, it's one I'm gonna call up often enough
Yeah,
that I'm not gonna
yeah.
forget much
It's gonna
about this
be
movie.
it's going to be one of those at the top of the list in the little black book when you go to start looking for something to watch, and it's up there in my fuck
Hmm.
list of ones I would just call up because it was just enjoyable, man. And like I said, it's one of those that I'm not going to watch it next week, but I know I could rewatch this thing in a couple months. If
Yeah.
like you said, if somebody wanted to watch it or whatever, and it would be enjoyable because there's just and there's little things that you pick out after you watch it again. Just like you said, you didn't see the bullet in the tailgate, and I have no idea what that means. It never really goes into it, or either I'm just not smart enough to catch on. But yeah, this one was
Yeah, the title to my notes is what I picked up the second time I watched this movie. That's the title to my notes. So it's there's just the stuff that I noticed watching it the second time.
yeah, this was it was fun. Like I said, checked all my boxes as far as the stuff I enjoy in movies. Um, it's definitely one I want to add to my small collection of DVD Blu-rays I like to collect because I just enjoyed it. So, but yeah, this was fun, man. I had a good time with this movie, and even after seeing it, people, there's certain parts of this movie when it happens, you're just like, oh, it's still the same. That kind of surprise, you know.
Oh yeah, the part where Vicky gets fucking
Oh yeah,
mauled by
yeah,
fucking Cujo,
yeah.
it like even though I knew it was coming, I had to pause. I took a little lap around my computer chair at like 6:30 in the morning. I was like, oof, okay. And then I sat back down and I watched it.
Here it comes. Yeah, it's one of those that yeah, you're not going to want to watch it every week, but watch it, and then a couple months later, 2 3 months, and you pop it in again, and just you know, this one was just so good. I had, like I said, we almost marrying it, people, almost, but
Very close.
we're gonna keep it to just a frequent phone call every now and then. We want to,
A casual fuck.
yeah, a little casual, just whenever we want to get a little get our fix in. So that's how we're gonna rate When Evil Lurks. But like I said earlier, you can watch this one on Shutter. It's been out for a while, so a lot of people may have already seen it. If you have not seen it, you are missing out. Um,
Hmm.
give it a chance. It's one of those that will kind of test. You can test kind of like where you're at in some horror shit because it's going to give you a little bit of everything. You're gonna get some nice little up close killing, a little gore. You're gonna get a little like fuck them kids, fuck them animals type thing. So this one kind of it's gonna checks a lot of boxes. Really enjoyed it. Uh, I appreciate you
And
coming.
it's not American. It's all subtitles. It's all in Spanish, and it's a really fucking good film for being international.
Yeah.
Like for where it comes from and the budget they had and everything that they had going for it, it's an amazing film.
Oh yeah. A lot of fun. Hey man, I appreciate you getting on here with me again.
I'm planning on getting on here fucking a lot more often than I have been because I miss this and I couldn't tell you how much fucking fun I had. My wife would be in the background right now being like, he's been waiting for this all day.
No, I definitely enjoy it. Like I said, uh, yeah, like I said, I know you're busy, and I know that we always have to work around schedules and shit. But I appreciate you getting on here and being able to talk about this one. And be on the lookout, man. Like if something else pops up, hit me up, or I'll hit you up if I come across something. And definitely get back on here and do this again.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I miss doing this. I friggin' miss talking to you. This is so much fun for me. It's like a break away from my busy ass life.
Hey, man. Yep, and this was time for you now. If we cut you loose, you can go back and start, handling your basketball team again.
Hopefully they're all asleep when I get home at this
Hopefully,
point. It's
hopefully. Like 11
yeah, it's almost 10
o'clock.
o'clock. They fucking better be sleeping.
What time is it there? What time is it there for you?
10 to 10.
Oh, so we're on the same thing then, because it's 9:50 here.
Yeah. No, it's 10 to 11. I
Okay.
lied.
Okay, yeah, okay. I thought I was an hour behind you.
Yeah, you are. You are. That's why I was like, wait, no, we are an hour behind. My clock is just behind. My
Oh,
phone says, yeah, my phone says 10:51. All right.
okay. I thought that was right. But hey man, like I said, I'll let you go, get back to the wife and kids, but appreciate you coming on here. If you're listening to this, go give us a like, subscribe, follow, comments, whatever. If you don't like us talking about window lickers, it's okay. You can come tell us. You're not gonna hurt.
I'm open for it. Technically I got a window liquor kid, so fucking he's gonna grow up. He's gonna grow up knowing I love his window liquor ass. I don't give a shit.
Yep, but yep. Oh shit, I just hit the wrong button on my computer. Okay, now we're good. But yeah, like I said, I appreciate you hanging out again, brother. And like I said, we definitely gonna do this again whenever you get a chance. Just let me know.
Absolutely, man. I'm fucking honored to be here every time.
All right, now, people, family, all you handful of folks out there, this is that part of the episode where we need you to reach over and grab your drinks. Need to gather up your shit, put your chairs away, and get the fuck out of here.